The night Lisa, my movie queen girlfriend, agreed to marry me. She wore seductive lingerie and had an all-night battle with her driver on our wedding bed. She thought everything was flawless and I was completely unaware. However, the footage of their fight had already been stored on my hard drive and it was too much to fit. Watching her with her award-winning acting skills post lovey-dovey pictures with me online every day, while secretly engaging in large-scale battles with others, I remembered the promises she made to me. She once said, "If I ever betray you, I will ruin my reputation and I'll die a horrible death." So on the day Lisa was supposed to marry me, I did 3 things. The first thing, I sold off all the gifts she had given me. The second thing, I sold all the shares I held in the company. The third thing, uploaded her infidelity videos all over the internet, ruining her reputation. Mission accomplished. As for the horrible death she promised, that can wait a little longer. Chapter 1. Breaking news exposed. Innocent pure little flower, the movie queen gets pregnant. After a one-night stand on the eve of her wedding, see you next Monday, I opened Facebook and looked at the trending topics that had already made it to the top of the search list. A bitter smile pulling at the corners of my mouth. Lisa and I had been in love for 7 years. I had watched her go from a nobody to a supporting role, then to a leading one, and finally rise to become one of the top 95 actresses in the industry. But I never imagined that one day I would be the one to destroy her. However, it was Lisa who once swore on my chest saying, "James, I'll belong to you in this life. If I betray you, let me be disgraced and die a horrible death." Die a horrible death. I couldn't make that happen. But disgrace. A call to a famous paparazzo would be enough. 3 keywords: innocent movie queen and the eve of the wedding. Each one pointed directly to Lisa. I scrolled through the trending topics and watched as Lisa's fans tried desperately to defend her, arguing fiercely. One fan wrote, "Next Monday, that's just 7 days away. If it's Lisa, I'll poop upside down. If not, all the haters should come and apologize on their knees." Impossible. Lisa and her boyfriend met when they were young. They've been in a long-term relationship for years. Exactly. My baby's Facebook records her story. It's legendary. They were classmates, and when she was bullied, her boyfriend stepped up. He was severely injured and fell into a coma, but Lisa stayed by his side, taking care of him. They can even be considered love at first sight. Right after the college entrance exams, they got together. Yeah, and Lisa is so brainy about love. During a variety show, a sharp-tongued host once hinted that wouldn't it be stressful if her boyfriend was earning less and she might feel like she had no place in the family. Lisa seriously replied that whoever earns more in the family is lucky, and that there's no rule that the man must earn more. She also said she was always dependent on her boyfriend and listened to him about everything. When she won Best Newcomer, she even asked the organizers if the award could be converted to cash, saying she wanted to buy her boyfriend a computer. At that time, many of the fans who shipped the female lead scolded her for being love-brained. Do you really think she could cheat? I was speechless. I watched as her fans listed all the proofs of her love for me. I lowered my head, smiling self-deprecatingly, hiding the disappointment and loneliness in my eyes. Everyone said Lisa loved me deeply to the bone. But who would have thought that the one who swore she would never leave me would secretly find herself a lover right under my nose? Every night when I slept, she'd sneak off into the nanny van to get cozy with the driver. I watched frame by frame those sensual scenes, hearing the obscene moans. My heart was torn wide open, bleeding profusely. The love story that everyone thought was perfect and flawless was in fact horribly ugly. I had lost my parents at a young age and went to school hungry every other day. So I never paid class fees or joined class activities, becoming more reclusive and indifferent. I was the oddball everyone talked about. But it was Lisa who took the initiative to sit next to me one day, arrogantly asking if I would teach her math. In exchange, she promised to bring me lunch every day. She was like a ray of light, illuminating my dark world, so anyone who dared to bully her, James would not let them off easy. But now she pulled me out of the mud only to push me into the abyss. I shook off the memories, opened another app, and without hesitation bought myself a plane ticket for 7 days from now. For the past 8 years, I had been revolving around Lisa. From now on, I would courageously pursue my own dreams. Just as I finished booking the ticket, my phone rang. "Mr. Wong, your custom wedding suit has arrived. Please come and try it on." I responded flatly. As I looked up, Lisa was walking toward me. Tonight was the grand award ceremony, where Lisa would receive a major accolade. I didn't want to go, but Lisa insisted that I attend, saying that I couldn't miss any important moment of her life. During the award speech, she once again made a heartfelt confession. This time I wasn't moved at all. I just felt a sense of irony. I felt nauseous and left midway. Lisa said, "James, I couldn't get through to you. I was so worried. Why didn't you call to let me know you come?" Lisa grabbed my hand and examined me from head to toe, confirming I was fine before letting out a long sigh of relief. I looked at her, sweat beading on her forehead, the worry in her eyes so real. I couldn't understand how someone who loved me so much could betray me like this. She said, James, you must tell me when you're leaving next time. You can't just disappear without a word. If something happens to you, what will I do? I straightened my suit and smiled at her. Did you see the trending topics? The main character in the gossip? It wouldn't happen to be you, would it? What trending topic? Lisa pulled out her phone and glanced at it. A shadow flashed across her eyes, but it quickly faded as she became gentle again. She pouted and threw herself into my arms, saying, You really think too much. How could it be me? Don't you know how much I love you? Her tone was so sincere that it almost clouded my judgment. I looked at her and said, Yeah. Do you remember the vow you made? If you betray me. Before I could finish, Lisa quickly completed the sentence for me, saying, I will ruin my reputation and die a horrible death. Chapter 2. Lisa's expression was calm, as though the person who had been sneaking around with the driver every night wasn't her. I knew Lisa would never believe it unless she saw concrete proof. But it didn't matter. I had already arranged everything. 7 days from now, the same fans who were desperately defending her online would turn on her, biting back fiercely. Those who betray true love deserve to be pricked with 1,000 needles. At that moment, I had no interest in testing her acting skills any further. I said quietly, My custom suit is ready. I'll go try it on, she replied. Okay. As we walked, Lisa excitedly planned our future together, completely oblivious to the coldness in my expression. She said, James, I've canceled all my bookings this month. Let's go on a road trip to the beach. How about it? She gripped my hand with both of hers, as though she were afraid I would slip away. I nonchalantly pulled my hand from hers and smiled. You seem to be really into road trips lately. Didn't you say you used to get car sick easily? Who made it so you don't get car sick anymore? I thought, probably that young handsome driver, Lisa. Thinking she had concealed everything well, assumed I was joking. She coquettishly replied, Yeah. My boyfriend is my cure for motion sickness. As long as you're with me, I can ride in any car without feeling sick. The car stopped, and the attendant was already waiting at the door. When the attendant saw us, her eyes brightened. She said, You must be Mr. Wong and Miss Richard, right? Such a perfect couple. This wedding dress is a one-of-a-kind design created especially for Miss Richard by her. She led us into the fitting room to try on the clothes. Along the way, I glanced up and saw Lisa completely absorbed in her phone, her eyes barely concealing the desire within. The attendant called out to her several times before her gaze finally shifted from her phone to me. She said, James, you look so handsome. No wonder you're my husband. Saying this, she threw herself into my arms, stood on tiptoe and kissed my chin. The tenderness in her eyes made me pause. Then she quickly said, James, I've got an urgent matter. I'll send the driver to pick you up later. Without another word, she hurriedly left. Never even trying on her wedding dress, she was off to meet her little lover. I withdrew my gaze coldly, undressing from the suit. As I was leaving, the attendant chased after me and asked, Mr. Wong, are you not satisfied with the wedding dress? We can make adjustments based on your feedback. I replied, No need. The dress clearly didn't fit well. I wonder what was going through Lisa's mind. When she gave the measurements to the attendant, clothes can be altered. But people who don't fit, they just have to be discarded. I took off the confining tuxedo and put on a comfortable loose sweatshirt. A sense of relief washed over me. I didn't wait for Lisa to come looking for me. I went straight home. Just as I reached the villa gate, my phone in my pocket vibrated repeatedly. I opened it to find dozens of explicit pictures and a few videos. I brightened and zoomed in, my eyes fixated on the woman in the video. She was wearing the amulet belt I had personally obtained for her, swinging wildly with the movements of the person. On top of her, Nathan's message popped up, Lisa, thanks. You in front of billions, so what? With just a snap of my fingers, she'll obediently come to me, James. Lisa's body is already filled with my things. Do you still want her? I shakily shoved the phone back into my pocket and opened the door. Lisa was in the walk-in closet, wearing a lace slip dress exuding sexiness. She asked, James, why are you back so soon? I was planning to change and then go have hot pot with you. She hurried over, her big innocent eyes fluttering at me. I smelled the sickly sweet fishy scent on her, and my stomach churned. I couldn't help but bend over and vomit all over the floor. James, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling sick? Let me take you to the hospital. She quickly pulled out her phone, saying, Nathan, come upstairs. We're going to the hospital soon. Hurried footsteps could be heard coming from the stairs. Nathan's voice echoed, What's wrong, Lisa? Sister, are you feeling unwell? His tone was full of concern, completely uncharacteristic of a driver. I clenched my fists unconsciously, and the vivid lewd images flashed through my mind. Chapter 3. For a moment, Lisa was stunned. She coughed a couple of times, trying to cover up the awkwardness, and then said, "It's not me. James is just having stomach issues, and from now on, don't call me sister. Call me Miss Richard." Nathan, however, showed no fear. He casually responded, "Okay, Miss Richard, I won't call you sister anymore." The two of them were flirting right in front of me, their gazes almost sticky. I bent over again and vomited violently, finally throwing up nothing but bile. On the way to the hospital, I stared out the window in silence while Lisa nestled in my arms. In the rearview mirror, I saw Nathan's jealous gaze, almost like it was shooting flames at me. I frowned. "Lisa?" thinking I was just suffering from more stomach pain. Shed a few tears and said, "James, if you hadn't been so busy accompanying me to film everywhere and eating irregularly, you wouldn't have gotten such a bad stomach condition." It wasn't until the nurse attached Infor to me and I fell into a deep sleep that Lisa finally seemed to relax. She sat beside my bed, tightly holding my cold hand, constantly breathing warmth into it. When the nurse told her that the doctor wanted to see her, she reluctantly let go of my hand. Once the door closed, I slowly opened my eyes. The nurse said, "Miss Richard truly loves you." Her words were full of admiration as she continued, "When I gave you the IV, she cried as if she were the one being pricked." I didn't respond, and the nurse continued, "She even confessed her love for you in front of so many people. Mr. Wang, you must cherish Miss Richard." Listening to these words, I felt nothing but numbness. Lisa really was a master at acting, just like she had been for the past 8 years. The doctor said, "Your husband has severe gastric ulcers and esophageal reflux. Irregular meals or cold weather could cause vomiting and stomach cramps if not treated promptly. It could develop into stomach cancer." When Lisa heard the word stomach cancer, her brow furrowed deeply. She immediately said, "Use the best medicine for him." With that, she hurried back to the hospital room with a look of deep concern. When the door opened, I had no time to hide my disgust. She asked, "James, how did your stomach condition get so serious?" The doctor said. I looked up and met Lisa's concerned gaze, filled with worry and urgency. I could not believe that this was all fake. I couldn't convince myself that she was pretending. But if it were true, then why would she cheat on me right under my nose? Lisa noticed something was off with my mood and thought I was scared. She quickly wiped her tears and forced a smile. She said, "It's okay, James. I've asked the doctor to use the best medicine. Will get you better. You still need to take me around the world." I once longed to travel the world with Lisa, to see the sunrise in Onaya, the sunset in California, the waterfalls in Zambia, and the blue tears on Naama Island. But now I didn't think she deserved it. Those beautiful sights should not be tainted. I said, "Lisa, the investors sent an invitation. Let's go watch Wang Richard's love story on screen." This movie was an adaptation of a love story based on Us, written by true fans. The rights had already been bought by a film company and adapted into a movie. The soundtrack was even written and performed by me. Lisa, who had been preoccupied with Nathan, had forgotten all about this. She quickly made a call to her assistant. "Cancel all my appointments for the next 2 days. I have other arrangements." After hanging up, she held me tight again. She said, "James, I'll stay by your side always. You must promise me you'll take good care of yourself and tell me if anything makes you unhappy." I had no desire to discern the sincerity behind her words. "Lisa, they're like me, without parents. But unlike me, they're not fortunate enough to meet a good wife like you." Lisa didn't catch the sarcasm in my voice. Instead, she felt a wave of guilt flood her heart. She had made up her mind to dismiss Nathan after our wedding, dedicating the rest of her life solely to loving me. She said, "James, then let's host a charity gala. We'll invite famous directors and actors and encourage them to make donations." My response wasn't as enthusiastic as Lisa had hoped. I spoke with indifference. "If you're happy, then it's fine." The charity gala was set for the following evening, and Lisa stayed busy organizing everything, claiming she wouldn't be home that night. Nathan, of course, was there as her driver and would be with her at all times. I didn't question it, as Nathan always sent me detailed updates about their itinerary. Sure enough, they went to the park by the grass beside the lotus pond and on the hillside. He said, "Lisa told me that after marrying you, she would stay loyal to you. So these past few days, she's been letting me have her over and over again. She's practically drained me dry." "James, do you think she can stay faithful to just you? After tasting all the delicacies, how could she settle for plain porridge?" I numbly scrolled through the messages, my temples throbbing with pain. But the deadliest blow came next. A voice message played. "Nathan, I'm pregnant with your child. You must keep this a secret. Don't tell anyone. Once the child is born, I'll have him call you Godfather, at least that way he can recognize his roots. Lisa's voice pierced my heart. She was pregnant. No wonder her diet had become lighter recently. There were also photos of Nathan accompanying Lisa to her prenatal checkups, gently supporting her and placing his hand on her belly, looking every bit the loving couple. Just days ago, a reporter had snapped photos of Lisa entering and exiting the obstetrics and gynecology clinic, sparking a frenzy on Facebook, almost ruined by the scandal. Lisa, the leading lady from Monday's press conference, had to hold a special press event. She dragged me along, still suffering from a stomachache, in front of the cameras. We held hands tightly and announced our wedding by the end of the month, she said. I've always wanted to have a child with James, but I had some health issues. After filming action scenes and soaking in cold water for too long, recently, I've been visiting the doctor to improve my health so I can have a baby soon. At the time, I actually believed her. The press went wild with the story, portraying Lisa's willingness to give up her career to have a child for love. To this day, that story still circulates in the trending news. I numbly turned off my phone. At least there were only 4 days left. The charity gala went on as planned. I appeared at the event in a well-tailored suit, looking no less impressive than any actor. In fact, some directors even handed me their business cards, inviting me to star in their films. I smiled politely, shaking my head and refusing. But Lisa noticed my unusually calm demeanor. It was like a stagnant pool of water. Her anxiety returned in waves, and she walked over to grab my hand, only for me to pull away. I said, "There are so many people waiting. Let's start the donation ceremony first." Lisa's outstretched hand was left empty, and she clapped her hands, signaling that the donation ceremony was about to begin. Amid the applause, Lisa invited everyone to attend our wedding. She said, "In just half a month, James and I will get married, and I sincerely invite everyone to witness our moment of happiness after the ceremony." Lisa had the driver take me home. She said, "The banquet will probably take a little longer, so I need to socialize for a while. Honey, I know your stomach isn't well, so I had the maid make some congee for you. Make sure you drink it when you get home." I nodded and got into the car. But just 5 minutes into the ride, a message from Nathan arrived. He said, "There's a good show coming up." Chapter 7. I decisively instructed the driver to turn around. I left something in the banquet hall. "Wait for me in the underground garage and don't tell Miss Richard." I returned to the banquet hall. But what greeted me was an entirely different scene. The deafening music, the clinking of glasses, and the crowd of people exchanging toasts. My eyes immediately found Lisa, curled up in Nathan's arms, and it seemed that the people there had long since grown accustomed to their intimacy. Just moments ago, a well-known director had wished me a lifetime of happiness, but now he was grinning slyly, teasing Lisa. "At home, you're the little darling, but out here, you play so wildly. Your poor husband must be miserable." I even saw Lisa's younger sister, Maria, mingling with them. The same Maria who used to call me brother-in-law so affectionately, now chatting eagerly with Nathan. She asked, "Brother-in-law, is a baby in my sister's belly a boy or a girl?" Lisa turned to her sister, correcting her seriously, "Don't call him that. James is the only brother-in-law I have." Maria pouted, "I know you love James to death, but it's not like he's around. Plus Nathan isn't a stranger. Besides, didn't Mom also like Nathan?" At that moment, it felt as though thunder had struck me. Lisa's mother knew about Nathan. It turned out I was the only one kept in the dark like a fool, being played around by their entire family. Lisa replied, "James is still your brother-in-law. No matter where he is, don't call him that again." Maria reluctantly responded, "All right. I get it, sir. Would you like to enter?" I waved my hand, fleeing in panic as the waiter watched me puzzled. The noise of the entrance caught Lisa's attention, and she seemed to have seen someone who resembled me. Suddenly, she jumped to her feet, pushed Nathan aside and rushed toward the door. The corridor was empty. Had she been mistaken? She called over a waiter to ask if they had seen a man dressed appropriately. The waiter thought for a moment and then shook their head. They had seen a man, but his tie was loose, his hair disheveled, and his face pale, not exactly fitting the description of well-dressed. Still uneasy, Lisa called the driver. The driver replied, "Miss Richard. Mr. Wong has been in the car this whole time, and he's about to reach home." Lisa returned to the banquet hall, somewhat distracted. Although both the waiter and the driver had denied it, that figure looked so much like James. She couldn't bear to think of what might happen if James saw her with Nathan. "Lisa, what's wrong?" Nathan, like a lustful beast, leaned in toward her. Lisa had no interest in entangling herself with him. She needed to go home immediately to confirm that James hadn't returned. But Nathan's skilled hands were already wandering between her thighs, igniting a fire of desire within her. She tried to reassure herself that they would be married by the end of the month, and everything would settle. But once desire was awakened, it was hard to control. She wrapped her arms around Nathan's neck, and he, understanding her intentions, scooped her up in his arms. Together they walked into the adjacent private room under the knowing gaze of the crowd. The car pulled into the garage and stopped smoothly. I took out my phone, and Nathan's request for a video call popped up. I shooed the driver away and began recording the screen. I heard a voice. "Nathan, go easy on me." It was Lisa's voice. Filled with longing, Nathan responded, "Lisa, does he do it like I do?" As Nathan spoke, his eyes were fixed directly on the camera, staring at me through the lens. Chapter 8. The next morning, I was woken by an overpowering pungent fragrance. The whole room was filled with blooming lilies. I'm allergic to lily pollen. I tried to scream for help, but my throat was blocked and no sound came out. Nathan stood amidst the lilies, looking at me with malicious intent. He said, "Mr. Wong, Lisa's latest film just won an award. Do you think the flowers I prepared for her are beautiful?" I wanted to open the window, but I couldn't move my feet. The burning sensation in my eyes combined with the suffocating feeling caused me to collapse on the stairs. When I woke up, it was already the next day. I was in the hospital. I still felt some tightness in my chest and there were small red rashes scattered across my exposed neck. Lisa's hair was messy, and there were dark circles under her eyes. This morning, she had felt an intense sense of unease on set. After informing the director, she rushed home. When she opened the door, she found me unconscious. On the way to the hospital, her fear reached its peak when she saw my bloodless face, my tightly closed eyes, and the dense red rashes on my body. She couldn't help but cry. She said, "James, please don't leave me. I can't live without you." I was pushed into the emergency room, and Lisa turned to slap Nathan hard across the face. She yelled, "Didn't you know James is allergic to lilies? Are you trying to kill him?" Nathan, covering his face, played innocent. He said, "Lisa, I was so happy about your award that I forgot about Mr. Wang's lily allergy. I just wanted him to feel my congratulations as soon as he got home." Seeing that Nathan was also acting out of good intentions, and knowing that she had just slapped him, Lisa's anger softened, and she couldn't bring herself to pursue it any further. She stayed by my side the entire night without sleeping, only resting when the morning light started to break. "James, you're awake. You really scared me to death." Her voice was hoarse as she threw herself into my chest and cried. I let her hold me and said, "Did I almost die?" Lisa stiffened, and after a long pause, she said, "James, it's all my fault." I asked, "Where's Nathan?" She replied, "He knows he messed up. I slapped him. He's in the next room applying medicine." What a good act of self-sacrifice. She continued, "James, Nathan didn't mean it. I've already scolded him and slapped him. I'll have him stay at his hometown for a few days to avoid disturbing you and making you upset." Even now she was still trying to excuse her lover. I asked, "Lisa, will you fall in love with someone else?" I suddenly asked this question, and it startled her. The insecurity and fear inside her surged again. Lately, she had been feeling that I had changed, but she couldn't quite figure out where. I quietly stared at her, the woman I had loved for 8 years. The thought of destroying her myself still made my feelings somewhat complicated. So I wanted to know, did she feel any remorse? Was she willing to admit her relationship with Nathan? But a dog that eats shit can never turn back. As expected, she said, "Of course not. I've only ever loved you in this life, and I'm stuck with you. You're not allowed to fall in love with anyone else, okay?" She said it so sincerely, as though she had never done anything wrong to me. I gave her a chance, but she's no use. Don't blame me for turning my back on her. Since Nathan wants my life, then let's destroy it all. Lisa seemed to sense my softened expression and leaned on me, starting to reminisce about our sweet past together. Chapter 9. For a period of time, due to Lisa's demanding job, we were often apart, but no matter how late or how tired, I would call her every day. Later, Lisa begged me to quit my job. She said, "Music is so tiring. I can't bear to see you work so hard. Besides, I have so many movies to shoot now. I can support both of us." Unable to resist her persistent pleas, I reluctantly disbanded my band, gave up on my dream of music, and chose to stay by Lisa's side, becoming the man behind her. My friends teased me as a house husband, some even lamenting that I was throwing away my musical talent. But I said, when two people are together, one of them has to make a sacrifice. I can't bear to let her give up the acting she loves. I quietly listened to her talk, but her phone kept ringing in her pocket without even looking. She dismissed the call, but the next moment it rang again. Eventually, she reluctantly answered the phone. From a distance, I couldn't hear what was said on the other end, but I could see the change in Lisa's expression. Her once clear eyes slowly filled with the flames of desire. Before the call was even over, I received a message from Nathan. He said, "Mr. Wong, Lisa is heartbroken after our call. I've invited her to our wedding suite. Do you think she'll come looking for me? Just a moment ago, she had said she was going back to her hometown. Turns out she had hidden herself in the new house. I had barely finished reading the message when Lisa walked over. Her face full of apologies, she said, "Sorry, dear, the crew suddenly needs to reshoot a scene." I replied flatly, "Lisa, you're an actress. I want to ask you, can love also be acted out?" Lisa's heart tightened when she heard my question. She almost thought too much and smiled, of course. Otherwise, how could there be so many movies that people get addicted to? I asked, "Then what about you? Are you acting when you're with me?" Lisa pouted. Pulling my hand and shaking it playfully, she said, "Who can act for 8 years straight? Even fake feelings become real over time. If I were that good, I'd have won an Oscar by now." 8 years, I believe she had loved me. Maybe she still loved me now. But that couldn't be a reason for her to be forgiven after betraying me. I've always understood when to walk away. Lisa couldn't understand. The look in my eyes, the love that once filled them was now gone, replaced by emptiness. Suddenly, she hesitated, feeling a strong sense that she might lose me. But then Nathan's call came in again. And on the other end, he said in a cocky tone, "Lisa, I've learned a new move, wanna try it out?" The wedding invitations had already been sent out. What else could happen? She suppressed her unease and said softly, "I promise I'll finish the reshoot as soon as possible. It won't delay our wedding. You also rest and take care of your health. I'm still waiting to be your bride." I watched her turn and leave, her back slowly fading out of sight. I whispered to myself, "Lisa, goodbye." 3 seconds later, Nathan called again. This was the first time he had called to provoke and challenge me. "James, I'm lying on your wedding bed right now, and I've prepared a bunny girl lingerie set for Lisa. You've already been in the emergency room, and Lisa didn't care about you. Do you think she'll care about you, the groom, on your wedding day?" Haha. In all of Nathan's past provocations, I never responded. But now everything was about to end. I slowly spoke. "Nathan, you're just a clown. The position of the groom is yours now. Lisa, I'm done with you." Lisa was gone for 3 full days, and during that time, I received a constant stream of messages from Nathan. Lisa's legs wrapped around Nathan's waist like they were boneless, on the wedding bed. There were used protection items scattered around. I saved everything, packed it up, and sent it to the paparazzi. I also organized the financial problems Lisa had into a data report and scheduled it to be sent to the official email on Monday morning. After doing all of this, I sat in the black business car. As I passed Lisa's chauffeur car, I glanced at her one last time. Then I put on my sunglasses and said, "Let's go." When the paparazzi revealed the evidence of Lisa's affair, I was already on a plane to a foreign country. From then on, she was ruined, her reputation destroyed, and I was reborn. Chapter 10. In our wedding suite, it was a scene of spring blooming. Lisa cried and begged for mercy, but Nathan showed no sign of pity. He moved fiercely, as if he wanted to crush the person beneath him. With a muffled groan, Lisa's legs fell limp from Nathan's waist. She pointed at her bruised and battered body, pouting. "What's wrong with you today? You're not being gentle at all." Nathan, gasping, his voice low. "You're marrying James in a few days. If I don't go wild now, I might not have another chance." Lisa glanced at the scattered used protection on the bedside, her face darkening. She bit her lip and said, "Nathan, I warn you, stop with the tricks, clean everything up." Nathan, thinking about the images and videos he had already sent, looked at her with growing ambition. He leaned down and circled his arms around Lisa. "Have you never thought about kicking him out and marrying me instead?" Lisa's expression immediately turned cold as she pushed him away and warned, "Impossible. I love James. You're nothing compared to him. Stop dreaming." Nathan didn't get angry. So what if she loved James? James already knew that they had been secretly involved for months. Would he still love her? Lisa said, "As long as you don't make trouble, I'll give you a large sum of money after I marry James. It'll be enough for you to get married and have children." Nathan's kiss trailed from her lips down her neck. The next morning, Lisa finally crawled out from under Nathan's grasp. During a break from filming, Lisa took out her phone and switched it to silent mode. To her surprise, aside from a few work-related texts, there were no messages from James. She felt uneasy and took the initiative to send him a message. "James, I miss you so much." But as expected, all her messages were left unanswered. She stared at the full signal bar, a sense of unease creeping over her. The phone rang for a long time, and when she finally heard my voice, her anxious heart finally calmed. She asked, "James, why didn't you reply to my messages?" At that moment, I had just landed in Austria. She asked again, "James, where are you? Why haven't you replied?" I replied, "I just went for a run." "What's wrong?" Lisa's voice softened. "The reshoot is almost done. After that, how about we go on a trip together?" I answered with a simple Next Monday's your birthday. I've got a gift ready for you, Lisa asked eagerly. What did you get me for my birthday, James? I said, of course, the gift will only mean something when you open it yourself. Go ahead and get back to work. I'll be waiting for you at home. Lisa continued to speak sweetly for a while, but I grew disgusted listening to her. If it weren't for the fact that my immigration paperwork still needed 2 more days to complete, I wouldn't have even bothered picking up the phone. I patiently gave a few perfunctory answers, and her anxious heart finally settled. She was certain that I would never leave her, no matter what unforgivable mistakes she made. As soon as I hung up, Nathan called with a video message behind him. We're a full set of whipping tools. Lisa's face flushed as she bit her lip and said, Master, wait for me. At this point, she had completely forgotten her role as an actress, leaving the set without a word and rushing straight into her lover's arms. It was Lisa's birthday weekend. She said she wanted to spend it with me. But halfway there, Nathan claimed he had appendicitis. Lisa turned back to take him to the hospital, where he was examined and found to have no major issues for the time being. Lisa patiently comforted him. The doctor said it's chronic appendicitis. A few injections and it'll be fine. If you need anything, just let me know. Nathan wouldn't let go of her, holding on tightly. Lisa, you're about to get married. Can't you let me spend your last birthday with you? Lisa's eyes flickered with desire, but she remembered James waiting for her at home. So she replied, it's just one birthday. I'll spend it with James and come find you after. Wait for me. After saying that, she shook off Nathan's hand and walked out. Nathan wasn't willing to let her go. He jumped off the bed and blocked her path. He said, Lisa, I bought a nurse's outfit. Can you wear it for me? As he spoke, his finger slid down. Lisa made a light sound, and in the next moment, Nathan picked her up. He said, Nurse, come and check my body. A moment later, the sounds of Lisa's gasps and Nathan's muffled groans echoed through the room. A patient in the next room, who was a fan of Lisa, pushed open the door to the ward and was shocked by the scene in front of her. She quickly backed out, her face turning red. She was certain it was Lisa, but the man she was entwined with wasn't her fiancé. Confused, she secretly took out her phone and started recording. Nathan was certainly an excellent lover, and his skills in bed left Lisa thoroughly satisfied. After the long session, it was nearly dawn. Lisa reluctantly said goodbye to Nathan. On the way to the car, the night breeze flowing through the window made her head clearer. She began to regret not resisting Nathan's temptation. She had promised James she would be home to celebrate his birthday, but with just 15 minutes until midnight, her birthday would soon be over. Chapter 11. Lisa slammed her foot on the gas pedal and sped back to the villa, to rush to even close the car door properly as she dashed inside. James, I'm back. I'm sorry the shoot ran late. The entire villa was eerily silent, and apart from her hurried breathing, there was no sound. She turned on all the lights and looked around the house, a strong sense of unease sweeping over her. Standing at the staircase for a moment, Lisa forced her stiff legs to move and walked toward the second floor. As soon as she opened the bedroom door, she spotted a gift box on the bed. She hurriedly opened it only to find use protection and a hospital ultrasound report inside. Lisa's head spun and the world went black for a moment. Usually composed, she now trembled uncontrollably. Shakily, she pulled out a note from under the box. It was written in my handwriting. I've taken care of Nathan's descendants. For you no need to thank me. Goodbye. Her legs buckled and Lisa collapsed onto the floor. After a long while, she finally managed to take out her phone and dial my number, her fingers trembling. The cold mechanical voice on the other end cut through the silence of the night. The number you've dialed is unavailable. Please try again later. Boom boom boom. The clock downstairs chimed at exactly midnight, marking the end of her birthday. Mr. Wang, the paperwork has been completed. Here is your identification. Welcome to Austria. I gazed at the distant Alps. This truly was a place to start over. I smiled and thanked him. The boat had passed through 1,000 mountains. Lisa stumbled down the stairs, and just as the car engine roared to life, she hit the gas pedal again and sped out. Nathan had just fallen asleep when the door to his hospital room was suddenly kicked open. He frowned and opened his eyes, ready to yell at whoever dared to disturb his rest. But standing in the doorway was none other than Lisa. Back again. He grinned and said, Lisa, hungry again? He knew Lisa couldn't bear to leave him alone at night, that she would rush back to him as soon as she was done with her birthday. The movie queen would eventually be his wife. He reached out to hug her, but she slapped him hard across the face. Nathan touched his burning cheek in disbelief and asked, Lisa, have you lost your mind? Why did you hit me? Lisa's eyes burned with fury as she pointed at him and asked, Did you intentionally show those dirty things to James? Nathan quickly denied. I didn't do anything, Lisa. You have to believe me. Lisa snatched Nathan's phone and with shaking hands scrolled through his messages with James. With each scroll, her heart sank further. Images, videos, audios, and chat screenshots Nathan's provocations and boasting over the past 2 months. Lisa threw the phone to the floor, screaming at him. I warned you not to let James find out. Yet you sent him this disgusting trash. Go to hell, as she shouted. She grabbed him for pole and hurled it at Nathan. Nathan couldn't dodge in time and the pole struck his back. He groaned in pain. Lisa, how could you be so heartless? Do you want to kill me? The doctor on duty? Nurses and patients from the other rooms all rushed in at the noise. At first, they weren't sure if the woman causing the ruckus was Lisa, the movie queen. But she shouted it herself. Soon everyone in the building gathered to watch the spectacle. Lisa truly wanted to kill Nathan, even though she was carrying his child. The thought of the child made her pause. Every time she slept with Nathan, she made sure they took precautions, yet here she was, pregnant. If Nathan wasn't involved, then who could have done this? Nathan had also carelessly bought an entire room of lilies, nearly causing James's death. Now she understood Nathan's ambition. He pretended to be innocent and harmless in front of her, but behind her back, he was scheming. Thinking of this, Lisa's heart ached. How devastated James must be. She had to bring Nathan to James and make him explain himself. Tell James that it was all forced upon her, that she hadn't been willing, and that she had been brainwashed by Nathan. James would forgive her, yes. He would definitely forgive her. Lisa pointed at Nathan and shouted, stay here and wait for me. When I find James, you'll crawl to him and beg for his forgiveness. Nathan, still hurt from the pole strike, refused to back down. Lisa, I swear I didn't do anything. I really love you. Nathan's passionate gaze met Lisa's cold, vengeful one, and he involuntarily shuddered. Lisa replied, Nathan, I only love James. As for you, you're just a scumbag, a piece of trash. You think that by showing James that trash, I'll marry you? Not a chance. Lisa, will never marry a man who climbs up on women. Outside the room, people whispered. Gossip growing louder. Someone said, no wonder she looks familiar. She's a movie queen. Is that guy in the bed her lover? Others said, this movie queen has no self-respect. Makoto clenched his fists, pounding the bed, his teeth grinding in fury. He cursed, James, I hope you die out there. Lisa turned on her heel and strode out of the room, determined to find James and explain everything to him. But would James ever forgive her? On her way out of the hospital, her phone suddenly began vibrating nonstop. It was her agent, Sarah. After listening to what Sarah had to say, Lisa asked, what trending topic? Chapter 12. Lisa was confused at first, but then she opened Facebook. The trending topic read, evidence of movie queen Lisa's affair with male driver spying like drama unfolds. The scandal about Lisa's affair and a 1 terabyte of explosive content was trending and climbing higher by the minute. Lisa slammed the brakes, stopping the car in the middle of the road, her eyes fixed on the pictures and videos, her blood rushing to her head. The comments under the trending topic were even more intense. Clearly a slutty face, yet she pretends to be pure and innocent. I'd say she's more like a flower with a bad reputation. Looks like a scandalous secret. Even the goddess Lisa has been brought down from her pedestal. Some netizens even dug up her Twitter account, exposing the contrast between her public persona and private behavior with harsh words, calling her a goddess in front of the cameras but a bitch behind the scenes. A few unknown actresses came forward, revealing that Lisa had once encouraged them to let directors take advantage of them. The comments kept rolling in. Lisa really lives up to her reputation. The more you dig, the more you find. On the other end of the line, her agent Sarah was yelling, Lisa, you better have a good explanation for all this. Behind her, the cars honked incessantly, and in frustration, Lisa kicked the car light, shattering it. Her aggressor wasn't backing down, and soon enough the police were called. Another trending topic appeared on Facebook. Movie queen Lisa shows off attitude, disregards traffic laws, detained by police. In the detention center, Lisa went into a frenzy, throwing objects around and refusing to cooperate with the officers. She screamed, give me back my phone. I need to find James. I need to find James. She regretted everything, just because of one drunken night. Nathan had kissed her uncontrollably during the drive home, and she hadn't pushed him away. She thought a kiss didn't count as cheating, right? Then it was a hug, still not cheating. But as time passed, her boundaries grew lower and lower. In the span of 8 years, Lisa had risen from an unknown extra to the top-tier movie queen. She had many suitors, but her heart had always belonged to James, and she had never looked at anyone else. But Nathan was different. His passion was In stark contrast to the reserved James, his sweet words had lured her in, and with just a hint of temptation, she became weak like a puppet with no will of her own. Nathan was like a ravenous beast, and in the back of his car, he relentlessly demanded her again and again until she was exhausted. Afterward, she felt regret and fear. She regretted giving in to temptation and feared James would find out. She loved James too much. She couldn't live without him. Lisa transferred money to Nathan, hoping to make him disappear for good, but Nathan refused. He said he wanted nothing but to stay by her side, promising Lisa, "I'll behave. I won't ask to be your husband, I just want to stay by your side," Lisa replied. "But I already have a boyfriend. We're about to get married." Nathan heard the hesitation in her voice and wrapped his arms around her waist. He said, "Lisa, you're a movie queen, a wealthy woman, it's not the old days anymore. Isn't it normal to have a lover?" He had read her thoughts correctly, and in the end, Lisa was persuaded. She convinced herself that as long as she married James in the end, it wouldn't be considered cheating. It wouldn't be a betrayal of their promise. Lisa had thought of Nathan only as an outlet for work stress, never imagining there would be any real consequence. But Nathan was right. Once you've tasted the finest delicacies, how can you go back to plain porridge? Her risk-taking grew bolder, and she eventually fell completely. She whispered to herself, "James, I deserve to die." I slept until noon, humming a tune while washing up leisurely. Opening Facebook, seeing the rising trending topic, I felt a sense of satisfaction in getting back at Lisa, but also a lingering regret over the 8 years of love that hadn't had a perfect ending. However, the winds had shifted quickly. The fans who had once cheered for Lisa now turned on her, exposing even more of her black history. She had thrown tantrums on set, disappearing halfway through shoots. She had bullied up-and-coming actresses, deleting their scenes without permission. She had even stolen scenes, holding up the entire crew. And then I found a video uploaded by someone Lisa slapping Nathan in the hospital, just like that. The once glorious movie queen was now notorious, but none of this mattered to me anymore. I logged off Facebook, unsubscribed from all apps that had once been associated with my name, and erased all traces of my past and began a new, clean slate. Chapter 13. When Lisa was escorted out of the traffic police station by her agent, it was already the following morning. She said, "Sarah, can you arrange a press conference for me? I want to apologize to James. I need to know where he is now." Almost overnight, Lisa had lost weight, looking thin and exhausted. Her agent shot her a frustrated look, shaking her head. "The most important thing right now is to clear up your relationship with that driver. As for James, I'm already trying to locate him for you." But Lisa started to protest. Her agent interrupted, "If you don't apologize and clear this up, even if we find James, is there still any chance for you two?" Her words hit Lisa like a lightning bolt. "Okay, range it quickly. I'll immediately clear up my relationship with Nathan, then I can find James." Her agent comforted her for a moment. "Don't rush, take it slow for a couple of days. People's attention spans are short. Once the heat dies down a bit, we can hold the press conference." Lisa nodded with her eyes closed, her mind fixed on finding James first. She was determined to kneel before James at the press conference and beg for his forgiveness. He would surely never let her career be ruined. Returning home, she looked around the empty mansion. A decomplicated feeling surged within her. Before moving into this place, they had spent 3 years crammed into a tiny 50-square-meter apartment. At the time, Lisa's career had just started and James had disbanded his band to fully support her. She had faced repeated setbacks in her acting career, even contemplating giving it all up and changing professions. But it was James who kept encouraging her. "Lisa, you're professionally trained and have the talent. I believe you'll succeed." That year for James's birthday, Lisa had taken his hand and brought him to this mansion. She said, "James, this is our home from now on." They embraced tightly, dreaming of a bright future together, hand in hand. They went furniture shopping, slowly turning the cold, empty house into a warm and welcoming home. But now the house was the same, and without James, it felt cold and lifeless. In the living room, their wedding photo still hung in the center. In the photo, James looked so happy. But in Lisa's eyes, there was a sense of guilt and hesitation. That was the time when she had been having an affair with Nathan. After taking their wedding photos, she had hurried to find him. Did James already notice something was wrong back then? Her heart ached, and as she lay on the bed, tears flowed as she was overwhelmed with longing for him. Suddenly, she noticed a used condom in the trash can next to her bed. After every encounter, Nathan would toss them into the trash in the master bedroom. It was both a provocation and a show-off. Once she found James, she would tear Nathan apart in front of him. Lisa grabbed her phone and tried calling James several more times. But the same out-of-service message greeted her, desperate. She started calling James's friends, humbling herself as she asked about his whereabouts. But his friends responded with cruel remarks. Do you still have the nerve to look for James? Did you clean yourself up after what you've done? I was happy for James, thinking he was giving up music for you. But it turns out he's been feeding his time to a dog. I had just finalized Susanna's discharge date with the attending doctor and booked the flight tickets. As I stepped out of the doctor's office, I saw Lisa standing barefoot at the door. As soon as she saw me, she rushed over and grabbed my hand tightly. She said, James, I've given birth to the child. See? My belly is empty now. Will you forgive me? Lisa's hair was a mess, and her face was pale from the heavy blood loss. I shook her off and said, Lisa, when you were cheating, didn't you ever think about what kind of consequences you would face today? Lisa clung to me relentlessly, saying, James, it's retribution. The child had heart disease and is going to die. I replied, you should go find the child's father. Not me, I'm not a fool. And I'm definitely not your backup. Lisa collapsed on the ground, crying at first, then suddenly laughing. She said, Nathan actually said the child isn't his, that he's a bastard. Ha ha ha, I deserve it. I truly deserve it. But before she could say any more, Nathan suddenly rushed in, holding a knife and lunging at me. It's all your fault that I'm in this mess. The attack came so suddenly that I didn't have time to react. Just as the knife was about to strike me, Lisa dashed in front of me, taking the blow. Chapter 14. I had once planned our honeymoon with Lisa in Vienna, Austria. Was to be our first stop. Now Lisa had completely faded from my life, and the music dream I once thought was out of reach was finally within my grasp. I had successfully passed the preliminary auditions for the vocal and opera performance program at the Vienna Music and Drama Academy. Every day, I rode my bicycle back and forth between school and my apartment, seizing every moment to study German and learn about theater, fully immersing myself in preparing for the final exams. By early October, Vienna had embraced autumn, and the whole city had transformed into a scene from a movie. In the evening, I sat at a cafe by the street, enjoying the view outside the window. I pulled out my phone and sent video requests to a few friends back home. The response came immediately. James, finally you remember me. How's everything going? Are you alright? I flipped the camera around, showing them the church and the foreign streets. My friends immediately started congratulating me. I knew you weren't that fragile, James. If you want to do something, there's nothing you can't achieve. I didn't have many friends growing up, but every single one of them had been a companion for decades. When the scandal about Lisa's affair broke on Facebook, my friends were terrified, worried I would do something reckless. Now as they saw the smile on my face and the light in my eyes through the camera, they knew I had won in this battle. I strolled down Vienna streets, chatting animatedly with my friends, apart from asking how I was adapting to life abroad. Most of the conversation revolved around Lisa and Nathan. As the heat around Lisa's affair started to cool down, the company arranged a press conference for her. The venue was packed with reporters, all eager to grab the top headlines. Lisa looked pale, with messy hair and ill-fitting clothes. As soon as she sat down, reporters bombarded her with questions. Lisa, you've cultivated an image of a pure and innocent girl, but privately you were involved with your driver. What do you want to say to your husband and all your fans? You've portrayed characters full of deep affection and loyalty in your films. Did you feel guilty while filming these roles? You've been in a long-term relationship with James for 8 years and we're about to get married. Don't you think it's a shame? In the past, reporters had always treated Lisa with great respect, interviewing her politely. But now their questions were sharp and relentless. Lisa's face went even paler as she tried to avoid the flashing cameras. Her agent stepped in, grabbing the microphone. There's no truth to the rumors about Lisa and Nathan. We strongly suspect that Nathan has used AI technology to fabricate these videos and images in order to manipulate the situation. We will take legal action to protect our artist's rights. At her agent's hint, Lisa finally spoke up. She said, Nathan and I only had a professional relationship. As for the accusations that we were close, that's just the paparazzi's words. I'm about to marry my fiancé James. I don't want this to affect our wedding, a reporter asked. I've heard you've been spending a lot of time with Nathan. Have you considered how your fiancé might feel about this? Lisa's heart sank, and after a long pause she answered, I just felt sorry for him. He had just graduated from college and was struggling alone in a big city. That's why I hired him as my driver. I never expected him to turn against me like this. But before she could say anything more, a voice rang out. It's you, Lisa. You're the ungrateful one. Nathan had unexpectedly appeared at the press conference, throwing the scene into chaos. He pulled out his phone and showed the explicit chat records between him and Lisa. He shouted, "Lisa is pregnant with my child." This revelation was just as explosive as the affair scandal. The reporters erupted into heated discussions, then turned to Lisa with more pointed questions. "So what about James? Can we have him come to the press conference and clarify the situation? Are you really pregnant? How can you prove that the child isn't Nathan's?" Lisa's head spun, and she stood up, rushing toward the cameras. "James, I was wrong. Please don't leave me. It's all Nathan, he forced me. James, I love you. I swear I only love you." Her agent could barely react in time to stop Lisa. She was already losing control. The agent tried to salvage the situation, saying, "Journalists, the press conference will conclude here. Please follow the updates on the studio's Facebook page for further information." Staff tried to pull Lisa away, but she struggled fiercely, even kneeling before the cameras, begging everyone to help her find James. Her eyes were bloodshot as she stared at Nathan, shouting, "I'll kill you," in the ensuing chaos. Lisa was shoved to the ground. The pain made her vision go black. "Help me. Someone please help me." I listened to everything in silence, my heart completely unmoved. After all, both Lisa and Nathan had nothing to do with me anymore. I would never have to see their disgusting faces again. A few days later, the landlord gave me a movie ticket. I decided to take a break from my studies and go watch it. It was a Western romance film about a couple who fell in love at first sight, parted ways due to a misunderstanding, but eventually reunited. As the ending song played, the men and women around me were moved to tears. The girl sitting next to me, seeing my calm expression, asked in surprise, "Sir, aren't you moved?" "It's such a tragic love story." I shook my head like in the movie. I had fallen in love with Lisa at first sight, but unfortunately Lisa couldn't hold on to that love, and it eventually turned rotten. From 17 to 25. 8 years of my youth wasted. How could I still believe in love? Now I only wanted to immerse myself in the music I loved without thinking about romance. Chapter 15. Meanwhile, the internal of the hospital. When Lisa arrived, there were signs of miscarriage. The doctors did their best to stabilize her and for the moment, managed to save the baby. Nathan sat in the hospital corridor, consumed by regret. If only he hadn't been so greedy, if only he hadn't provoked James. Perhaps he could have continued as Lisa's lover, though their relationship was kept in the shadows. At least he would have been comfortable and worry-free. Now Lisa and he were completely estranged, and his own shame was exposed as the internet dug up his past, using his status as a friend of a famous actress to flirt with female actresses, and even sneaking into girls' dormitories to take photos while in university. The scandal had effectively ended his social life. Now his only hope of survival was to hold on to Lisa, no matter what. He immediately called Lisa's mother and said, "You don't want your daughter to be labeled a slut, do you? And with a child without a father, it'll be her who's humiliated. There's only one way to fix this now. Lisa needs to marry me." That might just save her career from the brink of collapse. The effects of the press conference continued to spiral, and Lisa's agency Teshin Entertainment saw its stock prices plummet as a result of the scandal. The company executives held an emergency meeting, and the studio issued a unilateral announcement to terminate their contract with Lisa. As the walls came crashing down, major advertisers pulled their sponsorships, citing Lisa's breach of contract, and demanded hefty compensation for their losses. A nationwide backlash against Lisa erupted, with calls for her to be ousted from the entertainment industry. All the TV platforms scrambled to take down her films, TV shows, and variety programs. As a result, many stars and artists were also caught in the crossfire, taking to Facebook to condemn Lisa. One by one, they accused her of being the rotten apple that ruined everything. The once celebrated movie queen had become a pariah, a target for public scorn. Faced with the enormous compensation demands, Lisa was forced to sell off her properties, but it was barely enough to cover a fraction of the debts. Every day, her phone rang incessantly, calls to curse her out or demand repayment. Every unknown number that came through made her heart race as she answered in a trembling voice, "George, is it you?" And each time the response came, "It's your father." But she couldn't change her number, nor could she turn off her phone. She was terrified of missing a call from James. Unable to sleep or rest, she was slowly falling apart. She moved from the luxurious villa in the affluent district to a rundown small apartment in the suburbs, sharing the space with her mother and sister in a cramped 50-square-meter home. Her mother, afraid of Lisa being embarrassed for giving birth without a father for the child, had also brought Nathan into their home. Nathan, taking advantage of Lisa's pregnancy with his child, treated Richard's mother and Maria with utter disdain. He said, I'm telling you both, if you serve me well, I'll consider marrying Lisa. Otherwise, she can just wait for her career to be destroyed. Lisa, do you think she can still afford to give up on her acting career? Lisa knelt beside her mother, sicked, and said, Mom, I can act again, you have to hang on. I will make the most of this chance. She then came to me and said, James, wait for me to make a comeback. I will clean myself up. I could only feel disgust. Lisa met the director, nodding and bowing. No longer the image of the former queen of the screen. After confirming the details, she was taken away for makeup. The stage manager asked, Director, with so many actors to choose from, why pick this one with a reputation that's completely ruined? The director smiled maliciously and said, it was because the investor specifically requested Lisa for this role because it was, he said. Ha ha ha. I really look forward to seeing the pure little flower from the past play. The makeup artist applied thick foundation on Lisa's face, blue and green eyeshadow on her eyelids, and bright red lipstick, the makeup extravagant and gaudy. Lisa looked at her increasingly strange reflection in the mirror, unable to resist, asking, excuse me, what kind of character am I playing? The makeup artist, already aware of her scandal with Nathan, didn't bother to answer her, rolling her eyes and saying, I don't know. Lisa wisely kept her mouth shut. She thought to herself that as long as she could act again, even if it was a beggar or a thief, she was willing. When she changed into leopard print shorts and a camisole and arrived at the set, she finally realized that her role was that of a street prostitute. Lisa gritted her teeth and played along. The leading lady was once an actress who couldn't even hold a candle to Lisa, but now she had become a first-tier star. She said, oh, isn't this the once great Richard, the queen of the screen? How did you fall to the role of a street prostitute? Ha ha ha. Her sarcastic words drew loud laughter from the entire set, and Lisa's face turned bright red with embarrassment. But she couldn't lash out. She could only smile and stand there. The first scene had her standing in the red light district, trying to attract customers. Lisa endured the humiliation, trying to strike a seductive pose. The leading lady arrogantly delivered her line. You don't know how to keep your dignity. Any man can climb on top of you, you're so cheap. Just as a large pot-bellied man approached and grabbed her, the entire set burst into laughter. Lisa recalled what James had said to her. I'm afraid of catching something. Keep your dirty body away from me. In that moment, she finally broke down and cried. Why do you have to do this to me? Not far away, the investor, arms crossed, sneered, and said, why? Don't you know what you did? You're a trashy person. On the phone, my friend told me that he had arranged for Lisa to play the street prostitute role, and I felt a mix of amusement and pity. He said, James, you know Lisa playing a street prostitute. She looks so ugly. Ha ha ha. I laughed along. For a moment before responding, thanks brother. But from now on, this person really has nothing to do with me. After hanging up, I saw a post on Facebook, former queen of the screen, now reduced to playing a street prostitute, break down on set. The comments from netizens were even more merciless. Deserved. She should be playing a street prostitute after being so promiscuous. I volunteered to play any role with zero pay just so I can touch the pure little flower. Boycott Lisa's comeback. She's not fit for any role. Chapter 16. As I was approaching the door to the hospital room, I overheard Lisa's voice from inside. Susanna. It's Lisa. Lisa was kneeling by Susanna's sick bed, crying and pleading. But Susanna didn't give her any sympathy. She said, after doing something so shameful, what are you doing here, Susanna? I truly know I was wrong. Please help me talk to James. I can't live without him. Lisa went on, expressing her guilt toward me, swearing she would love only me for the rest of her life. Susanna, though, couldn't help but soften her heart a little. She said, I heard from James that you're pregnant with someone else's child. Lisa blankly repeated, pregnant. Pregnant. She looked down at her belly. Yes, if it wasn't for Nathan's child, would James have forgiven her? I didn't want Susanna to be disturbed any longer. I pushed the door open and said coldly, leave, don't come back to disturb Susanna anymore, and don't come looking for me. Lisa grabbed my hand, her eyes shining with hope. She said, James, is it true that as long as I don't have Nathan's child anymore, you'll forgive me? I looked at Lisa, who had lost her sanity, and took out my phone to call the security office. I said, there's a lunatic here. Come take her away. Lisa was escorted out by security, shouting that she would take revenge on me. I didn't know what kind of revenge she intended to take. Wasn't she the one who had hurt herself the most? I had a bad premonition that I no longer wanted to be involved with the Richard family or Nathan. I said, Susanna, let's leave next week, okay? Susanna, with pain in her eyes, patted my cold hand. Okay. The next few days, I couldn't sleep well, always having strange dreams. In one of the dreams, I was confessing my love to Lisa, She was wearing a white dress. Smiling gently, she said, "James, I promise I love you too." We were on the beach, the sea breeze blowing. I spun Lisa around in my arms. But then, Lisa's white dress suddenly turned red, blood red. Then Nathan appeared, holding a large bouquet of lilies, and looked at me maliciously, saying, "Mr. Wang, these flowers are from Lisa. Do you like them?" I ran desperately, screaming, "Who will save me?" Not far away, Lisa looked at me coldly and said, "James. Nathan is the father of the child in my belly, haha." Her laugh was deafening, and I woke up in a cold sweat. "Mr. Wang, your situation is classified as PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We recommend medication and psychological counseling." I couldn't help but smile at the diagnosis. I thought the trauma was behind me, but I didn't realize that it had been buried deep inside me like a seed. Lisa's repeated appearances had activated that seed. When Susanna found out, she scolded Lisa fiercely and then took my hand, wanting to leave immediately. "We're leaving. Let's get far away from these lunatics." I smiled and nodded. Every day, Lisa showed up downstairs at the hospital, desperately begging for my forgiveness. I watched from the window as security drove her away like a stray dog. I felt no pity for her, only relief. "Lisa, good deeds bring good rewards, and bad deeds bring bad rewards." Heaven's punishment for Lisa was the loss of her career and status. But Nathan's punishment was still ongoing. Since we moved to the old rundown house in the suburbs, our quality of life had dropped significantly. At first, Nathan naively thought that the starving camel is still bigger than the horse. He believed that as long as he clung to Lisa, they would eventually live a good life. But soon he realized that Lisa had no money left, and her belly was growing bigger every day. After graduating from university, Nathan had never held a proper job. His pride made him to selective. He looked down on jobs that paid well but weren't glamorous, while jobs with a decent salary didn't meet his standards. When he saw others making money from live streaming, he decided to try it too. Using borderline streaming. Chapter 17. He said, "Ladies, you can take off your coats, but don't forget to send a gift to this little brother of yours." He was wearing a deep V-neck suit, his chest and abs faintly visible. Someone in the live stream recognized him and said, "Oh, isn't that the little third party? Guess he and Lisa make a perfect match." Scumbag and bitch. Nathan, far from feeling ashamed, actually seemed proud. He changed his screen name to Pure Little Brother. Behind the scenes, he was even selling the unspeakable videos of him and Lisa at a low price. Lisa's mother was lying in her bedroom, so angry that her blood pressure shot up. "You wretch. You've disgraced the Richard family." Nathan gave her a contemptuous glance and said, "Damn old hag. You wouldn't let Lisa abort the child back then, and now you're regretting it." Maria couldn't stand it and started arguing with Nathan. The two of them got into a physical fight right in front of the live stream camera. When Lisa came home and saw this, she rushed over and slapped Nathan hard. "Nathan, aren't you ashamed enough already?" Nathan went into a rage, pointing at Lisa and shouting, "You'd better get this straight. The whole damn family is relying on my live streaming to make a living, and you, a useless piece of trash, dared to yell at me." Lisa snatched Nathan's phone and, with shaking hands, scrolled through his messages with James. With each scroll, her heart sank further. Images, videos, audios, and chat screenshots. Nathan's provocations and boasting over the past 2 months. Lisa threw the phone to the floor, screaming at him, "I warned you not to let James find out. Yet you sent him this disgusting trash. Go to hell." As she shouted, she grabbed her pole and hurled it at Nathan. Nathan couldn't dodge in time, and the pole struck his back. He groaned in pain. "Lisa, how could you be so heartless? Do you want to kill me?" The doctor on duty, nurses and patients from the other rooms all rushed in at the noise. At first, they weren't sure if the woman causing the ruckus was Lisa, the movie queen, but she shouted it herself. Soon everyone in the building gathered to watch the spectacle. Lisa truly wanted to kill Nathan, even though she was carrying his child. The thought of the child made her pause. Every time she slept with Nathan, she made sure they took precautions, yet here she was, pregnant. If Nathan wasn't involved, then who could have done this? Nathan had also carelessly bought an entire room of lilies, nearly causing James's death. Now she understood Nathan's ambition. He pretended to be innocent and harmless in front of her, but behind her back he was scheming, thinking of this. Lisa's heart ached. How devastated James must be. She had to bring Nathan to James and make him explain himself. Tell James that it was all forced upon her, that she hadn't been willing, and that she had been brainwashed by Nathan. James would forgive her, yes. He would definitely forgive her. Lisa pointed at Nathan and shouted, "Stay here and wait for me. When I find James, you'll crawl to him and beg for his forgiveness." Nathan, still hurt from the pole strike, refused to back down. Lisa, I swear I didn't do anything. I really love you. Nathan's passionate gaze met Lisa's cold, vengeful one, and he involuntarily shuddered. Lisa replied, Nathan, I only love James. As for you, you're just a scumbag, a piece of trash. You think that by showing James that trash, I'll marry you? Not a chance. Lisa, will never marry a man who climbs up on women. Outside the room, people whispered. Gossip growing louder. Someone said, no wonder she looks familiar. She's a movie queen. Is that guy in the bed her lover? Others said, this movie queen has no self-respect. Makoto clenched his fists, pounding the bed, his teeth grinding in fury. He cursed, James, I hope you die out there. Lisa turned on her heel and strode out of the room, determined to find James and explain everything to him. But would James ever forgive her? On her way out of the hospital, her phone suddenly began vibrating nonstop. It was her agent, Sarah. After listening to what Sarah had to say, Lisa asked, what trending topic? Chapter 18. Meanwhile, the internal. At the hospital, when Lisa arrived, there were signs of miscarriage. The doctors did their best to stabilize her and for the moment managed to save the baby. Nathan sat in the hospital corridor consumed by regret. If only he hadn't been so greedy, if only he hadn't provoked James. Perhaps he could have continued as Lisa's lover. Though their relationship was kept in the shadows, at least he would have been comfortable and worry-free. Now Lisa and he were completely estranged, and his own shame was exposed as the internet dug up his past, using his status as a friend of a famous actress to flirt with female actresses and even sneaking into girls' dormitories to take photos while in university. The scandal had effectively ended his social life. Now his only hope of survival was to hold on to Lisa, no matter what. He immediately called Lisa's mother and said, you don't want your daughter to be labeled a slut, do you? And with a child without a father, it'll be her who's humiliated. There's only one way to fix this now. Lisa needs to marry me. That might just save her career from the brink of collapse. The effects of the press conference continued to spiral, and Lisa's agency Teshin Entertainment saw its stock prices plummet as a result of the scandal. The company executives held an emergency meeting, and the studio issued a unilateral announcement to terminate their contract with Lisa. As the walls came crashing down, major advertisers pulled their sponsorships, citing Lisa's breach of contract, and demanded hefty compensation for their losses. A nationwide backlash against Lisa erupted, with calls for her to be ousted from the entertainment industry. All the TV platforms scrambled to take down her films, TV shows, and variety programs. As a result, many stars and artists were also caught in the crossfire, taking to Facebook to condemn Lisa. One by one, they accused her of being the rotten apple that ruined everything. The once celebrated movie queen had become a pariah, a target for public scorn. Faced with the enormous compensation demands, Lisa was forced to sell off her properties. But it was barely enough to cover a fraction of the debts. Every day, her phone rang incessantly, calls to curse her out or demand repayment. Every unknown number that came through made her heart race as she answered in a trembling voice. George, is it you? And each time the response came, it's your father. But she couldn't change her number, nor could she turn off her phone. She was terrified of missing a call from James. Unable to sleep or rest, she was slowly falling apart. She moved from the luxurious villa in the affluent district to a rundown small apartment in the suburbs, sharing the space with her mother and sister in a cramped 50-square-meter home. Her mother, afraid of Lisa being embarrassed for giving birth without a father for the child, had also brought Nathan into their home. Nathan, taking advantage of Lisa's pregnancy with his child, treated Richard's mother and Maria with utter disdain. He said, I'm telling you both, if you serve me well, I'll consider marrying Lisa. Otherwise, she can just wait for her career to be destroyed. Lisa, do you think she can still afford to give up on her acting career? Lisa knelt beside her mother, sicked, and said, Mom, I can act again. You have to hang on. I will make the most of this chance. She then came to me and said, James, wait for me to make a comeback. I will clean myself up. I could only feel disgust. Lisa met the director, nodding and bowing. No longer the image of the former queen of the screen. After confirming the details, she was taken away for makeup. The stage manager asked, Director, with so many actors to choose from, why pick this one with a reputation that's completely ruined? The director smiled maliciously and said, it was because the investor specifically requested Lisa for this role because it was, he said. Ha ha ha. I really look forward to seeing the pure little flower from the past play. The makeup artist applied thick foundation on Lisa's face, blue and green eyeshadow on her eyelids, and bright red lipstick, the makeup extravagant and gaudy. Lisa looked at her increasingly strange reflection in the mirror, unable to resist asking, Excuse me, what kind of character am I playing? The makeup artist already aware of her scandal with Nathan, didn't bother to answer her, rolling her eyes and saying, "I don't know." Lisa wisely kept her mouth shut. She thought to herself that as long as she could act again, even if it was a beggar or a thief, she was willing. When she changed into leopard print shorts and a camisole and arrived at the set, she finally realized that her role was that of a street prostitute. Lisa gritted her teeth and played along. The leading lady was once an actress who couldn't even hold a candle to Lisa, but now she had become a first-tier star. She said, "Oh, isn't this the once great Richard, the queen of the screen? How did you fall to the role of a street prostitute? Ha ha ha." Her sarcastic words drew loud laughter from the entire set, and Lisa's face turned bright red with embarrassment. But she couldn't lash out. She could only smile and stand there. The first scene had her standing in the red light district, trying to attract customers. Lisa endured the humiliation, trying to strike a seductive pose. The leading lady arrogantly delivered her line. "You don't know how to keep your dignity. Any man can climb on top of you, you're so cheap." Just as a large pot-bellied man approached and grabbed her, the entire set burst into laughter. Lisa recalled what James had said to her. "I'm afraid of catching something. Keep your dirty body away from me." In that moment, she finally broke down and cried. "Why do you have to do this to me?" Not far away, the investor, arms crossed, sneered, and said, "Why? Don't you know what you did? You're a trashy person." On the phone, my friend told me that he had arranged for Lisa to play the street prostitute role, and I felt a mix of amusement and pity. He said, "James, you know Lisa playing a street prostitute. She looks so ugly." Ha ha ha. I laughed along for a moment before responding, "Thanks, brother. But from now on, this person really has nothing to do with me." After hanging up, I saw a post on Facebook. Former queen of the screen now reduced to playing a street prostitute. Breakdown on set, the comments from netizens were even more merciless. "Deserved, she should be playing a street prostitute after being so promiscuous. I volunteered to play any role with zero pay just so I can touch the pure little flower." Boycott Lisa's comeback. She's not fit for any role. Chapter 19. A year later, I received some news after I left. The hospital had set a date for the surgery on Lisa's child, but in the end, Lisa's child didn't make it to that day. Nathan was arrested by the police for intentional injury and was detained in the holding cell for half a month before being released. During this time, Lisa hastily buried her mother in a desolate field with no headstone. She bowed heavily before the grave and said, "Mom, once I finish what I need to do, I'll come join you." She bought a knife from a nearby store and headed for the suburbs. She returned to the old house in the suburbs where Nathan had been staying since he was released from the detention center after locking the door behind her. Lisa stabbed Nathan before he even realized what was happening. She said, "Go find him, kneel down and apologize, beg for his forgiveness afterwards." Lisa called the police herself. By the time they arrived, Nathan was already lying in a pool of blood. Lisa, covered in blood, sat blankly on the sofa, murmuring to herself, "James, I avenged you. Come back soon." Lisa was eventually convicted of intentional homicide and sentenced to life imprisonment. While being transferred to a different prison, she was diagnosed with a terminal illness in its late stages. Out of humanitarian concern, she was sent to the hospital for free treatment. The excruciating pain of the terminal illness often left Lisa curled up on her bed, crying in agony. Unable to bear it any longer, she ran to the rooftop and jumped. She died on the spot. The promise Lisa made years ago, "James, I will only love you in this life. If not, let me be disgraced and die a miserable death," had tragically come true. The hospital staff said she left behind a letter for me and asked if they should send it. I refused and said, "Just burn it for me, along with the painful memories of the past 8 years. Let it all be burned away." Chapter 20. I went to see the psychologist for the last time. The doctor, with his broken Chinese, said to me, "Congratulations, James. You can stop the medication now." The nightmares that had once haunted me finally dissipated. I walked briskly down the street, feeling lighter and more at ease than I had ever felt before, and through this long, difficult journey, I was grateful to have had Susanna by my side. Of course, there was also Anna, who every day seemed like a little sunbeam, always laughing and dancing around me. Maybe just like Susanna said, it was time for me to start over. Before I knew it, Christmas arrived in Vienna. Early in the morning, a loud knock on the door woke me from my sleep. I opened the door half-dazed, and there it was, a huge Christmas tree standing on my doorstep. I was startled. Anna peeked out from behind the tree. "Merry Christmas." I couldn't help but laugh. She pretended to be angry, hands on her hips. "James, aren't you going to help me bring the Christmas tree inside?" I affectionately patted her on the head, rolled up my sleeves, and helped carry the tree into the living room together. We decorated the tree hanging candles, baubles, and stars. Anna also brought over some gift boxes and piled them under the tree. I picked up one of the hefty gift boxes and asked her, "Are there really gifts inside?" She mysteriously snatched it back and placed it under the tree, saying, "We'll open them together tomorrow." While Anna was on a ladder hanging Christmas hats, I couldn't resist my curiosity and secretly opened one of the boxes. Inside was a newly composed piece of music. "Do you like it?" Anna appeared behind me. Though I hadn't heard her approach, she said, "This is a piece I composed over 3 months. It's a cello duet." Her eyes sparkled as she looked at me, her breath so close that I felt a sense of comfort I hadn't felt in a long time. After dinner, Susanna, Anna, and I went for a stroll in the streets. Vienna had dressed itself in its Christmas best, with adults and children alike wearing Santa suits. Even the cats and dogs were dressed in Christmas costumes. Anna somehow managed to find some Santa hats and put one on herself, one on me, and one on Susanna. She even stuck a fake beard on me, saying, "James, you're Santa Claus. I'm going to make a wish, and you have to help me make it come true." Her excited antics made Susanna and me laugh out loud. Anna ran ahead, shouting, "I wish James would always laugh happily, his smile purer than the snow on the Alps. And Susanna would become even more beautiful, the most beautiful Susanna in the world." I couldn't help but agree with Susanna. Anna really was a charmer, I said. "You're really sweet. No wonder Susanna likes you so much. She keeps calling you Anna, and says she wants to adopt you as her goddaughter." Susanna quickly added, "Then I'd have both a son and a daughter." Anna suddenly stopped her playful demeanor and leaned in close to my ear. "And what about you, James? Do you like me?" I didn't know how to answer. Just as I was about to speak, I heard someone shout, "Fireworks!" Brilliant fireworks cascaded down from the sky, accompanied by fleeting shooting stars, beautiful like a fairy tale. Stars travel through billions of light years to meet humanity here, just like we cross all those latitudes and longitudes to meet each other in Vienna. Anna turned to look at me, bathed in the glow of the aurora, and confessed seriously, "I want to hug you for all the overwhelming love I feel." I turned to face her, saying, "Anna, I think I'm more suited for this." She gasped, covering her mouth, and tears began to well up in her eyes. I asked, "Anna, would you like to play a piece with me?"